Argentina's got 171 visa-free or visa-free on arrival countries and territories that you can go to. I like this passport. It does have some disadvantages to it, which I'm going to go over with you. One of the things is that I don't like is if you live there all year round, and you're going to basically, whether you get citizenship or not, if you're a resident there, you're going to have to pay taxes on your worldwide income as high as 35%. Now, one thing I do like is in most cases you can get dual citizenship in Argentina, which makes it really nice in that. And it does have a lot of countries that you can go to that you can't go to with other passports. Now, if you do a comparison on the visa-free travel with St. Kitts has got 162 visa-free or visa-free on arrival countries and territories. This one's got 171. So you're looking at 9 more countries more that you can go to on this passport. But again, St. Kitts has no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax, and almost no property tax at 0.20% of whatever you're purchasing, with a $29,600 US dollar exclusion before that 0.20% kicks in. So as far as taxes go, in English-speaking, St. Kitts is an English-speaking country. Most people in Argentina are not going to be able to speak English fluently. This is the problem. All right, now, one thing that's nice that you can get this passport, you can apply for it, and not say get the passport, because anything in South America, you're not going to get it the time you apply for the passport. You can apply for it after 2 years of residency there, but I'm going to tell you it's going to take you, I would say, 3 to 4 years to get the passport. And again, you're going to have to pass a Spanish test to get this. If you don't pass the Spanish test and you don't continue to try to pass it, then you're never going to get the passport. That's the problem with this. So, are you willing to, learn the language and try to get that thing passed? That's the problem. And, a lot of people, what happens is a lot of people, they can't end up passing a language test, and they end up making an international move and just wasting a lot of money. Also, folks, if you want to legally get around high income taxes or how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. All right, now again, Argentina does allow dual citizenship in most cases. It just depends. I'd have to look at your individual situation to see if it's going to work out for you. Now, they've got basically what's called a Rentista and Pensionado visas. And the way it works is these are visas that are 2 different visas. They are similar in the requirements and structures. The principal differences between them is the type of applicant that each targets. Now, the Rentista is a standard independent means visa aimed at attracting remote workers or those with sufficient passive income from abroad. The Pensionado, meanwhile, is geared towards retirees whose pensions or overall income meet the minimum amount set forth by the government. Now, other than that minor distinction, the Rentista and Pensionado are fundamentally the same. But I'm going to go a little bit more in terms of how this works. Terms and requirements for Argentina's Rentista and Pensionado visas and how they work. All right, now the eligibility criteria for the Rentista and Pensionado are simple. The applicant must be over 18 years of age, have a clean criminal record, and meet the required income amount, formally set at 5 times the Argentina minimum wage at about $350 US a month as of today. It's pretty low. Now, minimum income requirements, let's look at that. The Argentina authorities, however, are unlikely to approve any application demonstrating an income lower than $1,800 US a month. Now, while this differs from the government's regulations, immigration officers exercise some discretion in approving or rejecting applications. Because the Argentine peso has devalued too rapidly for minimum income requirements to keep up, immigration officers have unofficially raised the bar. Even in Argentina, a relatively cheap country, $350 US a month would not suffice to maintain such a lifestyle. Now, residence permit duration, let's look at this. Now, the Migration Department initially issues a Pensionado or Rentista applicants a 1-year resident permit, renewable annually for up to 3 years. Now, the idea behind capping the extensions to 3 years makes sense when considering Argentina's permanent residency and naturalization laws. Now, let's look at the path to permanent residency and citizenship. Curiously, residents of Argentina can apply for citizenship before reaching the permanent residency stage. Naturalization requires 2 years of continuous residence, one of the fastest naturalization processes worldwide, and it really is. For the passport, for what you can get this actually the quickest. Although it is slow there, it's not as slow as Central America in getting things done. Now, while qualifying for a permanent resident permit requires 3 years of residence. Now, the discrepancy is owed to the separate legislations under which naturalization and permanent residency fall. Now, each status follows its distinct regulations and processes. Let's look at the fiscal presence requirement. Now, the government has set out a specific fiscal residence requirement to qualify for permanent residency or citizenship. Still, local experts typically advise that those who aim for naturalization spend at least 6 months a year in Argentina to qualify. This amount of time and their status as tax residents are usually enough to show genuine links to the country. And since the judge ruling on the citizenship application has significant discretion, proving a solid connection to Argentina is vital for approval. Now, the idea behind the Rentista and Pensionado visa is to bring people to live in Argentina, whereas Golden Visa benefit the economy through the initial investment. Independent means visa bring in money through taxation and consumption. To pay taxes and consume in the country, applicants must naturally be present much of the time. Now, since the routes to Argentina's citizenship and permanent residency are quick, they align perfectly with the primary objective of the Rentista and Pensionado visas, as expedited naturalization compared to the other countries can act as a catalyst for people to stay, spend money, and pay taxes to achieve the goal of naturalization. All right, now, you cannot renounce Argentina's citizenship. This is one thing that's kind of unique about this. Those aiming for Argentine citizenship must beware of another peculiarity of this Argentina nationality law is, unlike the citizens of most other countries, Argentinians cannot legally renounce their citizenship. Once in Argentina, you're always an Argentinian. Now, what are the chief attractions of the Rentista and Pensionado visas? The attraction of the visas can be split into two categories: the programs itself and the appeal of life in Argentina. The Rentista and Pensionado visas have a straightforward process. There is no investment requirement. The associated fees are negligible. There is no physical residence requirement for renewals, and they lead to citizenship or permanent residency in record time. The country itself sports a wide array of lifestyle benefits. As the third richest South American country on a per capita basis, Argentina's residents generally enjoy a high standard of living and all modern comforts. But again, like I mentioned to you again, you're going to be taxed on your worldwide income if you live here at pretty up to 35% rates. And there is a language barrier issue, and you're going to have to take that Spanish test to get the passport. Now, it's home to nearly 50 million people, forming a healthy-looking demographic pyramid with a high ratio of young to old people. Argentina is an enormous country. It's 2.8 million square kilometers of territory, make it the world's 8th biggest. Now, the country's size and north-south distribution mean it has all the matter of climates and topographies, Andean mountains and tropical rainforests, highland deserts, warm water beaches, as well as a continuous stretch of temperate zone arable land, so large it's only surpassed by the U.S. Midwest. Now, Argentina's famed farming regions have made it one of the world's largest exporters of agricultural products. The country also has tremendous oil and gas reserves, which are now under rapid development, which will, before long, make the country one of the largest fuel exporters. Now, of course, the country's location and the way to nowhere, hemmed in and protected from the outside by mountain ranges, deserts, rivers, and the Atlantic Ocean, has made it a favored bolt hole for those seeking refuge from the global geopolitics of, for centuries, a topic, that they explore in detail. Now, let me just tell you something about this country that you're going to have to get used to. is this country is a South American country. They advertise it as being a 2-year process, but I'm going to tell you, like I said before, more than likely you're going to get down there, and from the time you start to the time you get the passport, you're probably going to look at least 3 to 5 years to actually get the passport in your hands. Don't feel disappointed if that happens, because this is typically what happens in Central and South America, although South America is typically better than Central America is. Now, there's no getting around the observation that life in Argentina does have its drawbacks, primarily those arriving from government policy. It's got really high inflation rates, really bad bureaucracy, protectionist trade restrictions. Residents can and do migrate each of those shortcomings, however, by the shrewd use of alternative currencies, a large informal economy, and income sourced from abroad. The country is a member of the Mercosur, making it a viable springboard to business in most other Latin American economies. Citizens of any Mercosur country enjoy the added benefit of the right to settle in any of the other association's member countries, as well as a fast track to permanent residency and citizenship across the region. Perhaps Argentina's biggest selling point for remote workers and retirees is the low cost of living in Argentina. Real estate is cheap and a high standard. I mean, you can get ribeye steaks for as low as €7 per kilogram. It does have a lot of benefits as far as cost goes on food, clothing, real estate. So these are some things you got to look at. If you want more help on this, we do this country. It's one of the 100 countries that we deal with. And if you want to know more, let's go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, or hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.